Let's see, wave.
Yeah, I mean, I'm recording right now.
Okay.
That is recording on the top left. You see that?
Yep.
I don't know if it said that last time.
I can't remember that either.
So maybe that's a good thing.
Deb Sibley has joined, so we can say hi to Deb.
Oh, it's friends and family affair.
So far.
Now all we need is Kate Ireland to join and Cena, and it'd be great.
Yeah, and then that's it. Just and then we'll just we'll just it'll be like catching up with everyone.
Yeah, then it just becomes like a family kind of get together.
All right. Well, since we're recording, let's just keep it to as long as we can. Is that the shirt from the original days of Quick Swip?
This is the OG. This is the OG logo that maybe a lot of people don't know about or haven't seen.
The
Shout
original.
out Vince Pasquale for designing this OG logo. And
Okay.
I think you got the new one on, right?
I have the new one on. I'll flip it back so you can see the new logo. See, how do you, yeah.
Can I see it in Zoom? I can't see it in Zoom.
You couldn't see it on Zoom?
No, do you see it's only your face.
There. There. You see it there?
Yeah.
All right, so
Tilt your camera down so it's like, yeah, there you go.
okay. So if we're recording this, then we can just go in. Oh, here we got Noni Carroll has joined.
Oh, hi, Noni.
Hi, Noni Carroll. So we'll wave at that. Here's Noni Carroll. You waved at Noni Carroll. So yeah, I think, oh, here we go. We got another one here. Third Coast Killa has joined. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. And then Third Coast, wave at Third Coast Killa. So now we have 4 people on. And here, let's have everybody say hi to you. Here's Brad. Everyone, Brad's here. Here's Brad. Hey, Brad. Yeah. Okay, we'll say hi, yeah, everyone. Oops. All right, so we got to make, there's the logo again, the original logo Brad's wearing. And then I'm wearing can everyone see mine? Here, I'll flip it back. And I'm just gonna, here's my logo right there. Bam. Yeah. So I'm gonna say, ask us a question, please. Let's see what. People can just hear me saying, I don't need to type it in, right? I can just say, ask us a question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, ask us anything. Third Coast Killa, Noni Carroll, Deb Sibley, Mabby. Ask us anything and we'll answer.
How about in the meantime, you can give the brief background of how it all started.
Okay, we'll go and do a condensed version compared to last time, right? But yeah, how it all started was 7 years ago, 2013. We started with Brad and Ryan contemplating what direction to go with our careers. And then in 2013, when we were coming up with our plan to decide what career path to take, Brad was consulting with his best friend at the time, one of his best friends, who suggested preparing reports in the construction industry. And so, Brad, tell us 2 minutes about that. I'll flip it over towards you.
2 minutes about that. Yeah, so just a little background. I'm a registered professional civil engineer. Got my degree in civil engineering from Davis and was working as a civil engineer for about 10 years, something like that. I don't know, lost track. But Yeah, so part of doing land development as a civil engineer was doing SWPs. And we had to do SWPs for our clients. I had a good buddy of mine ask me if I know how to do a water pollution control plan, which at first I was like, huh? What's a water pollution control plan? And then you dig into it a little bit. Oh, okay, that's the Caltrans. That's what Caltrans calls these reports that are kind of like SWIP lights. So I dug into a little bit. Like, okay, well, I know how to do the hard version, which is a SWIP. Let me learn how to do kind of the condensed version, which is a WPCP. So I kind of went backwards, and that's how the world of WPCP reports started. I started doing them, realizing, oh, okay, I can knock these out. These are, I'm not getting a ton of comments back, getting most all of them approved on the first one. And yeah, it was started with pavement projects, just rehabilitation projects. That's how it all started back in 2013. So I think you started bidding pavement projects, like just rehab,
Yeah.
grinding overlays.
Yeah, so after I noticed that you were gaining some training and traction on preparing the reports for your friend, I started discovering opportunities for other clients or general contractors to ask if other contractors needed the same services, and you were willing to prepare the reports if I was able to bring in more opportunities. And we made an agreement that I would go out there and try to bring in work, and you would you would make sure the job gets done, so we could start building up a reputation and a rapport and understanding the the aspect of at least, what do you call them, light SWIPs, right? At least that aspect could maybe be a side hustle for us.
Yeah, and it was a side hustle for a little bit. Do you remember what our first SWIP was? Full blown SWIP, over an acre.
Yeah, so that was through another friend of Dave. The opportunity came for a SWIP for Tony Naredo at the company McGuire and Hester.
Yeah, Tony Ray was at my alma mater at UC Davis. At UC Davis, it was the MU modernization project. I'll never forget that.
That's right. And a question that's just come in here from the Third Coast Killa, who's saying, do you only prepare the reports in one state? So Brad, what do you think about that?
Yeah, currently we prepare them in California. That is where we're located in the Bay Area. That's our bread and butter. That's what we know and are familiar with. I think definitely in the future we will be a nationwide provider of SWIPs. Every state I think is a little different, and I think it takes some time to understand those nuances between states. But in general, it's the same thing. I mean, it's pollution prevention during construction. But right now, we are in California and preparing SWIPs in California only.
Correct. And then we are servicing sites where we do the monitoring and reporting on site in Northern California.
Yes. Thanks for the question, Third Coast Killer. Takes weeks for me to get a SWIP. Oh, okay.
Third Coast Killer comments, good market here in Texas for what you guys provide. Takes weeks for me to get a SWIP.
That's interesting. Yeah, our typical turnaround time for SWIPs here is about 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days, wow.
3 or 4 days we can get a SWIP done. I think the max we've ever had to wait or ever returned a SWIP is maybe 5 working days.
Yeah, and that's if we're slammed and we have 4 SWIPs in a week to take care of, and we just have to push it out a couple of days. But yeah, normally we jump right on these things.
Yeah, I think that's a definitely something our clients appreciate, right? I mean, people always say they get annoyed with how long it takes to get a SWIP back from whoever they're using. And a lot of times they get annoyed with if there's comments on the SWIP, how long it takes to turn around those comments. Um, Again,
Right.
like with comments, we try to turn those around within 1 business day. Because, in the end, you don't want a project to be slowed down because of the SWIP, right? That's like the last thing someone's willing to tolerate for a project to be slowed down. And that's kind of how I see it. We're not trying to be the bottleneck in the schedule for construction.
Right. And Third Coast says exactly, he agrees with what you're saying, Brad. So thank you for the questions. Keep the questions coming, Third Coast. If not, we just keep continuing our little story about our journey. But yeah, keep asking, and we'll answer them as we go.
Yeah, we were talking about the first SWIP we ever did. Do you remember the first QSP site inspection we ever did?
First QSP site inspection was again through a referral from your buddy at the general contractor. He passed us on to his coworker's brother-in-law or something like that, and we did some work at a winery in Livermore.
Livermore, California is the Dante Robert Winery. If you've never been, awesome wines, awesome grounds. That was a ground up development. I think it was just over an acre. I think it was like 1.25 acres. But
Right.
yeah, that was our first one.
Right, and that's the one where you were the QSP, certified QSP for state of California. That's only a state of California certificate, right?
The QSP is not a state of California thing. It's nationwide.
The whole nation can use it?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was where you're also able to train others to work under your certificate.
Correct. Yeah. As a QSP, QSD, you can train others to write SWIP reports, to do field inspections, but I mean, ultimately, the signee on those reports has to be a registered qualified SWIP practitioner, qualified SWIP developer.
Right. And so that's where you were able to train me to go out and do the monitoring and reporting for that first project while you were still trying to juggle between a full-time job and the side hustle at Quick SWIP.
Yeah, it was tough. Required a lot of grit, a lot of people not understanding your path in life. But what I always say is we had the vision for ourselves. A lot of people couldn't see it, loved ones included, friends, but we had the vision. We understood what we were doing. Kind of an unconventional route, right? But
And where did the name Quick SWIP come derived from? Was that in 2013 also?
that was in 2013. This is the throwback logo. This is the original logo. But that was my good buddy designer, Vincent Pasquale. Studied, I think, industrial design, but he does some graphic design and other things. But we started brainstorming well, I knew what the differentiator was for us, and that was quick turnaround times. That was a quick, getting a SWIP to you quickly, getting a water pollution control plan to you quickly, responding to comments quickly. So I know I wanted the name SWIP in there. So, we brainstormed a bit, came up with Quick SWIP. And my only regret with Quick SWIP, which I know you can attest to this because you're on the phone a lot, is no one can understand when you call a company and they ask who you're with, and you say, "Oh, I'm with Quick SWIP." They never get it on the first try. They go, "Quick what? Quick who?
Yeah.
Swiss Quisip? Like what?" And you almost have to spell it out. So that would kind of be the only regret with the name Quick SWIP.
Well, but also, and to add to that, a lot of gatekeepers and the secretaries, whoever answers the phone first, just doesn't know SWIP. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you had gold SWIP or anything SWIP, they would get hung up on SWIP.
You're right. I think, yeah, I mean, like, we're not like, what is it, like platinum construction or,
It's just
some,
not a common term you hear unless you're in project management or construction, land development.
right.
Right.
Um,
But yeah, that was the logo originally from 2013, and then uh, we had a supportive mom who went out and purchased a bunch of gear for us to get us going, and that was the logo, and those were the shirts that she funded back in the day.
yeah, shout out mom.
Yeah, and then, and then and then as the second year started, 2014, we were gaining a little bit of traction, picking up a little bit more work from uh, clients that were outside friends and family and referrals. And that was just through sales efforts and making phone calls, quoting jobs, learning where jobs are quoted, because there's websites that you can pay for, there's free websites where you can go out and quote work, and then you got to get the pricing right. So how did we get the pricing right on these projects?
I think we started really low and started going up from there until we started getting feedback like that's too high.
Right. And we were asking friends and family, hey, what's a good price in this? Not family, but friends and referrals of friends that have been in the industry. What's a common price for these reports? And these were the water pollution control reports.
Right. I knew how much SWIPs were getting charged for in the industry, so I just kind of had to back into the price for a water pollution control plan.
Right. And so 2014, we have a logo, we have some t-shirts, we got some vests and hard hats, and we're out there picking up some work from direct sales and from friends and referrals.
Yeah,
So
what was it? The second QSP site we ever did, we just walked up onto the construction site and asked them who your QSP is and if they needed one.
yeah, that was a pretty gutsy move. You really had to have some thick skin to be walking up onto a site and asking people for work, and no idea what kind of response you're going to get, and no idea what kind of environment you're walking into in the trailer of a construction site, right? But
Yeah, but it worked out. I
we
mean,
made, well, we made 3 or 4 attempts, right?
yeah,
One day you would go, one day I would go, one day you would go, until somebody responded and said, all right, give us a price.
right.
And so
We
we were
gave them
just,
a price.
yeah, we were in a place where failure was not an option, I guess.
Well, yeah, because again, yeah, exactly. It was that old saying, you eat what you kill.
Yeah,
So at a certain point, I didn't care about getting rejected. And you didn't, I mean, it was uncomfortable. We're not salespeople by nature. We didn't grow up, selling a bunch of stuff, but it was a kind of, you had to do it. I didn't care if these guys, their, what they thought about me was not relevant.
yeah,
If they laughed me out of the trailer, I don't care. That's fine. I'm gonna go to the next trailer, right?
yeah.
But it worked out, and there was other trailers that I walked into where I got laughed out of there. But you know what? It's all about that grit, right? You have to be able to get punched in the face and keep walking forward and keep going forward and keep doing good work, and it'll happen.
And we were following Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, on his social media, and he kept emphasizing that, not to us directly, but he just kept saying, if you don't work out as an entrepreneur, you can always go back and get a job. So don't worry about it. Give it a try. There's always a job waiting for you if you need to go back to work.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, he's been preaching that, at least for my recollection, since 2011. he's been saying you can always get a job for some firm or company, but you got to take a chance at your own entrepreneurial
Yeah. I
path.
think for me, though, it was more than taking a chance. I did not want to go back to being a civil engineer. I just didn't enjoy it. I did not like being a civil engineer. So it was, whether it was this or something else, I couldn't go back to being a civil engineer.
Yes. And so I did get a direct message or private message from one of our followers here, Deb Sibley, who did have a question. Deb, so if you do, please don't be shy and ask. We're here to answer all questions. So by all means, please ask away, Deb Sibley. Okay, Brad, so keep going. And we're 2015, at that point, you were finally confident enough to break away from your full-time job, and you were seeing enough traction with sales, and you were confident or somewhat confident that you're going to take a leap of faith, you're going to do this because you're seeing enough income at that time in 2015 to where it's time to jump on board.
Yeah. Well, it was trending in the right direction. The money was increasing. The relationships in the industry were getting, more robust. Phone calls were coming, referrals were happening, and yeah, we said we have to be all in at this point. You can't kind of have one foot in, one foot out. It was side money and it was good money, but it was kind of like, all right, we got to, if we want to do this, we got to do this.
Okay, perfect. And uh, real quick, Brad, we had a question come in now. Looks like a couple people have joined. Looks like Julie Fisher's joined. Hi, Julie. And Zalos has joined. Hello, Zalos. We have a question.
I think Zalos, I think I've met, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it might be, I forgot his first name, but might be, well, I'm not going to mention his employer. Maybe he doesn't want me to. But what's up? I know I've met you.
All right, Zalos. Zalos, please by all means ask your questions. We're here to answer questions, and we're just telling our little story of our company from how we started. The lovely Deb Sibley, she's my fiance, everyone. She's my fiance, Debbie. She's asked a lovely question, Brad. She's saying, how are you staying up to date with your staff members when you can't physically see them? And she means during this time of quarantine. So what do you think about that, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, great question, but I think it's the same issues a lot of companies are coming into. Our office actually got, for the most part, shut down, so can't go into the office. We have a lot of field staff members, but it's really been telecommunications via, whether it's phone call, Zooms, FaceTime, emailing, texting. All of that just ramped up a whole lot more given the fact that we can't just ask them to come by the office, or we don't have access to the office. Even our discussions, me and you, they are all on Zoom now, or phone calls, really.
Okay, and so in general, you're using the power of technology, email, telephone, Zoom. The Zoom came in just in time for many companies, including ours, and using even this Instagram helps, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of it helps. I mean, and then if you do have to meet, we're doing the physical distancing. Trying to do our best to not get too close to each other, not hand papers back and forth, that sort of stuff. So there are measures being put into place.
Okay, perfect. And so right now you're working from home in an office.
Yeah, in my office. Yeah, it's.
Can you show us a quick view?
I don't know if you guys want to see it. So I just moved.
Okay.
So there is stuff everywhere right now. So.
Well, what's behind you? Just the wall there?
Just the wall.
Okay.
Maybe I can show you the front door.
Yeah, show us the front door. The front door of the house or what?
It's the front door of the house right there. It's
Oh,
got a
wow.
cool little window peephole, so you can open that up and talk to people.
Oh, oh. So that's like the mailman or something when he comes
Well,
in?
we got the mail. We got the mail drop box right there,
Oh yeah, look at that.
and
Is
then
That's like we're like back in the day where like a dog would chase the mailman.
yeah, basically. And then we have my wife in the other room in the nook. So we're doing our best to make it happen.
Okay, so she's cranking away upstairs and you're cranking downstairs.
Yeah, basically. I did have a question for I don't know if Third Coast Killa is still out here.
He's with us, yeah.
I did have a question for him. You know, us being in California, these environmental regulations are very strict, taken very seriously. We had one project, if you remember, it was in South San Francisco, and the contractors were from Texas. And I understand it's a very, very small sample size. It was just one project and two contractor from Texas, superintendent from Texas, but they thought the SWIP stuff was just absolutely ridiculous out here. So I don't know if you get a chance to weigh in on it, but what your experience is. But they couldn't believe all the requirements, paperwork, things we had to do to keep their site in compliance here in California.
Okay. So let's ask him. Maybe if he's listening, we'll ask him and then we'll say Third Coast. We'll say Third Coast Killa. Third Coast Killa. So how can I ask the question really fast? I can just say, how strict is SWIP in Texas?
Yeah.
How strict is SWIP in Texas? Okay, there we go. Let's see if he sees that. Yes, we have Hamid just joined too. Hamid, thanks for joining in. Hamid's been a longtime follower of our Quick SWIP and also our social media comedy page, the LMFAO. He's been on that as well. He's asked his friends to join. So he's just a fan of engineering and comedy.
All right. What's up, Hamid?
Student of electrical engineering and he's working his way up. So that's wonderful. I think you got my wave there.
Oh yeah, we got it.
All right. And so let's go with 2015, Brad. Until we see the question come in, we'll continue talking. 2015, we were in our mid 30s, right? As far as age. Oh, wait a minute. We have a question that came in. Hang on. I'm just going to interrupt here. So it says from KP Ireland. So that should be the young lady upstairs, right?
That's the young lady upstairs. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So she's in and she says, what are some of the challenges and perks of being business partners with your brother? Oh, wow. So we forgot to add that. So we are brothers and we have
couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's easy to tell, except you can barely see that our hairlines are very similar. So
one brother's got more hair than the other brother.
Slightly more hair just at the top. We'll have to talk to mom someday about what happened there. But yeah, so what are some of the challenges and perks of being business partners with your brother? So Brad, go ahead and answer that one for us. And thank you for the question, Kate. Let's give Deb Sibley a thank you.
No, I'd like you to answer that one.
Okay, so let's see here.
You can answer the first part. I'll answer the second part. How about that?
And we'll say, okay. And let me just say thank you to KP, and that, okay, perfect. And we'll give her a great big thank you as well. So the question is, one more time, what are some of the challenges and perks of being business partners with your brother? So with this relationship with Brad and I, the perk is we can be very honest with each other. There's no sugarcoating. We tell each other how we feel. Gary Vaynerchuk and AJ Vaynerchuk are brothers, and they said when you become business partners with your sibling, it changes the dynamic of your relationship forever. And it's not necessarily in a good way or a bad way, but it changes the relationship forever. So in our case, we're very blunt and honest in many ways, and that helps us move past things or get directly to the point. So that's a perk. We don't have to wait 3 days to not hurt each other's feelings and things like that. And then what was the other one? The challenges. Okay, is that the one you want to answer, Brad?
The challenges. What is the challenge? Well, I think the perk and the challenge is almost the same thing.
Okay.
Is, it's a perk to be able to say what's on your mind, but then that also can become a challenge because you are speaking your mind and you're not sugarcoating things. And, so that could be, and I think the other thing is just the brother dynamics. You know, maybe you don't want to admit wrong when it goes back to probably when you were 5 years old. Like, you didn't want to lose to my brother. I didn't want my brother to beat me in Nintendo or Mike Tyson's Punch Out, whatever it was.
Yeah, the age gap is not that much, only 3 years, so it's easy to be competitive and say, well, we both experienced the same thing, so who knows more? Not necessarily either one of us.
Yeah, but I think in the end we both know where we want to go and the goals.
Yeah, because AJ Vaynerchuk said, well, it was easy for me to get on board because Gary is 11 years older. So, 11-year age gap is easy. I just follow my brother's footsteps. He was already successful. And so in our case, we were same career path, almost the same experience, and launching business with not so much previous experience. Although I did have some ventures here and there. So thank you for that question, KP Ireland. That's wonderful. Keep the questions coming here. We're just getting more people to join. And we will be on for about 20 more minutes. So you can prepare your schedule for the rest of the day. 20 more minutes of the fun, quick SWP people. And Brad, so let's go back to 2015. We're going to bring everyone up to date to 2020. So in 2015, we had to rent a very low key kind of a damaged old bath, and we had to force ourselves into making a rent payment to go out there and get work so we could pay the bills. It was a good opportunity to hold our feet to the fire, so to speak, to make sure we can at least make rent payments with the quick SWP income.
Yes. Correct.
Right? Every day to strategize, to come up with a plan, and to take a small side hustle and turn it into a real business by using whatever resources we had.
Correct. Sorry, you broke up for a little bit there, but I think I got the last point of it.
Yeah. And so tell us how quickly you took a business that was a side hustle that you were just filing some taxes on with your regular income. How did you turn that into a real business?
How did I turn it? Well, it was a multiple step process, but I think that when we first tried to get it incorporated, we did all that through LegalZoom. So, you saw the commercials online, like, okay, I'll go to LegalZoom to kind of do all this. And it was convenient in the sense that you kind of knew where to go, and they had a website and it was all fancy, but it was a nightmare to actually get that done. A lot easier said than done is what I'll say. It was tough to actually get incorporated. We are a S corporation. So I learned a ton about business entities and the legal ramifications and tax ramifications of that, how you structure your business on the front end. My friend Vince helped me with the website. We got business cards through Vistaprint. We didn't have a ton of startup costs, and really because it was computers, and we kind of each already had a computer. Um, but there wasn't a ton of money we had to spend initially.
Right. So we would quote work. We would quote work through the internet, and then we would get the work through an email or a phone call.
Yeah.
And then you would prepare the reports through your computer, your Microsoft Office tools, and then we would email the reports off. So there wasn't much startup cost except computer and paper.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I had to buy a printer. I remember. I went and bought a printer from Office Max. I think it was $100 or something, and the thing works like a dream still.
Yeah. So in 2015, we're hustling. You have the same printer as you had in 2015, and we're trying to bring in more work. You're just churning out these reports as soon as I bring them in. You were churning them out, and if there were comments, you would turn around the comments immediately. You had time on your hands to prepare the reports, and it was just a full-on focus of making sure the rent was paid, our bills were paid, and trying to grow the business patiently, but as fast as possible at the same time. So it was a lot of that saying that Deb likes to use, hurry up and wait.
Yeah, there was a lot of hurry up and wait. There was a lot of patience, a lot of frustration, a lot of loneliness. People don't talk about. But
Yeah, describe the loneliness real fast.
well, it was just that no one really understands where you're coming from. No one, it's hard to date. You don't have a ton of money. You're in your 30s living with your brother. It's unconventional, and I think it was tough. It was tough to date. So you ended up just hanging out, by yourself or with your brother a lot of nights.
Yeah, so there's this old meme that keeps going around. It says sacrifice a few years of your life so that you can live the rest of your life the way you want.
Right.
So that with those kinds of motivations and that kind of psychology helped to get through those times where it was slow as far as socializing, kind of painful to make plans with friends, and especially watching everyone around you build families and travel and go out to dinner, do fun stuff, and you're in the one
Not
bedroom.
doing any of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the time flew fast. 2015, we suddenly turned in our income statements to our tax man, and we were like, oh wow, this is more than we ever imagined. If you recall, we both were thinking, wow, this is a lot more than we thought we would be making. Especially after only 2 years of side hustling and not being fully committed. And the following year in 2016, we took the momentum of 2015 and kept going, and we were cautious with our spending. We were very careful to not overspend, but we were working with our bank to get credit cards for the business, and we were trying to itemize items. We had a budget in 2016 that we prepared just between the two of us, and just making sure that at least some of the keep the lights on items such as paper, printer, internet costs, all the things, minimal things to keep the business going, right?
Yeah.
And what did we do in 2016? What was that one move we made that really put some pressure on us, but forced us to continue to grow the company?
2016, we moved, didn't we?
Yeah, we moved. Yeah. So we jacked up our rent by how much?
I think double.
No, so we were paying $2,100 at the current place,
Oh.
and we started paying $2,900.
Oh yeah, something like that. Well, I don't know. It felt like double at the time.
Yeah, we were very reluctant. We were both wondering, should we do this? Because an $800 increase in rent would put a lot of pressure on us, and we were still working very hard to bring in business. So we weren't confident that the $800 rent bump would suffice, would we be able to handle it. But what happened, we went and we saw the apartment, we liked it, we signed the deal because there wasn't too many documents needed to support our income.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they said all you need is a good credit score and some statement to show what you made last month or something. And we took that and we signed up.
Yeah.
And in 2016, we moved to a luxury apartment in Dublin, California.
I wouldn't call it luxury. I would call it a nicer apartment.
Nicer apartment. It had its own separate wings, right? You had your own room. Finally, I had my own room. You had your own bathroom and myself. We had air conditioning for the first time.
We had air conditioning and we had laundry in our unit.
Yeah. So in the previous apartment, we had no laundry and we had barely a heater and definitely no air conditioning.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. It was luxury based off what we previously had. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that apartment also had just new appliances, which we were not used to for 18 months. We lived in that other apartment with barely working appliances, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2016 and going into 17, we started getting more business by continuing to quote, turning around quotes on time fast, creating the SWIP reports fast, doing the monitoring and reporting quickly, accurately, just between the two of us, splitting up the work. We had so much confidence in 17 that we took our first vacation after 4 years.
Yeah.
We took a quick vacation, which we actually used an opportunity to use it as a business expense because one of our clients had an office in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And they had mentioned that we should go visit that office to see what's happening out there with the expansion. And then we went to Hawaii to take a break for 4 years of startup grind and see what's happening with our client's office.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we came back from that, business continued. It wasn't a major hit. We realized, okay, this could be a long journey. There's opportunities to take a break if we need to, but we really haven't done a 4 or 5 day vacation since then, I think. Maybe once when
Yeah, we did another one. We went to,
yeah, because we're so scared and paranoid at the same time that this is our business, our livelihood. We can't just break off and go do random things. But that was 2017, living in the luxury apartment and taking a trip. Right. So tell us, we have 10 minutes left. Tell us how we went from 2017 and what changes came to 2018. How did we keep growing the business?
Continuous cold calling, continually doing good work, continually bidding, giving good customer service with good pricing, and the work just kept coming. And also, just for record, this is, what is the date? It's April 13th, 2020, in the middle of this pandemic. But, when we started and up until this pandemic, it was construction was booming in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Just absolutely booming. So there was plenty of work out there. It was just up to us to go get it.
Right.
I think that was a big portion, or without the availability of work, you're not going to grow, no matter how good of work you're doing.
Right.
There was a lot of opportunity, and we were kind of in the right place, right time to get this thing going and make a name for ourselves and have clients trust us.
Right. And then you hired some staff.
Hired some staff, yeah, because we were going so big. I couldn't keep doing all the sites. You couldn't do all the sites and sell and do all the other stuff you're doing. And so, yeah, we had to start hiring people. Right now, our staff count is, we're still small, but it's much bigger than it was just me and you.
So in 2017, you hired your first staff member. He stayed for a few months. He needed full-time work, and he didn't pan out.
Right.
Then you started putting flyers out in universities in late 2017 and 18, asking students to intern for us.
Yeah.
And they would come on board, and you would train them, and they would work the sites that were far away from us.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they would all come and ask for full-time work, and we couldn't afford them, so they would move on to other firms that could offer them full-time.
Right.
Right. And so it wasn't until the beginning. And so in 2017, we continued to stay at the apartment. We would bring on these interns, they would help us, and then they would leave after a few months. And so then we would pick up their work. And then it wasn't until 2019, if that's correct. Nope. Nope. Let me get my dates right. Yeah. 2018, our lease came up on our apartment. We were generating income to the point where we both felt comfortable that we could move out on our own.
Yeah.
And we were doing that with, like you mentioned, the cold call sales, the quick response time, good customer service, staying focused, not getting distracted, because we did have a lot of time on our hands sometimes where we could have easily gone off and had fun by 2018, but we were staying focused on work and taking that extra hour on Friday to read a book and about sales or make an extra sales call or something related to the business,
Yeah.
right? Whether it was getting our banker to help us get a line of credit or whatever it took to keep the business growing. And then by 2018, we could afford to move away from each other. We purchased some property in the same neighborhood. And tell us from 2000, we have 6 minutes left. Tell us when our first more or less full-time staff member came.
Well, it was 2019, right?
Yeah, January of 2019.
January 2019, and then since then brought on 6 other people.
Right. Because in the middle of 2018, if we go right back, we both were financially independent.
Yeah.
You were out there dating, and you were confident enough to approach your now wife and say, I'm a business owner. I have a business that I've been running for 4 or 5 years. And you were putting your best foot forward. And shortly after you had met your wife, and I had met my current fiance with the same approach. I had the confidence to approach him. And this was fall of 2018. So we both had our own property and we both had a business. And then in the beginning of 2019 is when our first full-time staff member came.
Right. And then it's been growing since then. We have, accounting department now. We have someone helping with invoicing, collecting. We have a bookkeeper. We have a legit tax person now who helps, file our taxes and do tax planning. We have 3 field QSBs. Me and you generally in the office, working on internal technology for our field crew and for our office staff to kind of make things more streamlined. Just finished training videos, which will be tremendously helpful for existing staff and onboarding new staff. So a lot of positives coming, a lot of good stuff coming, and we'll see where where the world takes us. But we're confident that it'll get it back to what it was. It might take a little bit of time, but we'll do our best to work around all that.
Right. So it is April 13th during a pandemic that we're doing this video, a world pandemic, and we have been categorized as an essential business, quasi-essential business. We've been recommended by the State Water Board to keep working. So we are continuing our services. And like Brad said, it's very unpredictable, but we're taking it day by day and hoping for the best. And our staff size is up to 8 people, and we are managing a lot. And all the detailed questions of where did you get your tax man? How did you get an attorney? How did you guys become incorporated after LegalZoom messed you guys up? All these details we can answer in different sessions, but this has been just a quick review of how we got to where we are now. A successful $1 million business, which I know Deb Sibley is smirking right now because she's Brad, she's secretly our little CFO who who watches our income carefully and tries to keep us, as she likes to say, even flowed each month with our income.
Hmm.
So what we can do, Brad, is we can take this video and we can use the link from Zoom and put it up on our Quick SWP. What is that? The profile.
Yeah.
Okay, and that way, whoever didn't get a chance to log in could watch it later, right?
Yep.
I'll just make a post on Instagram saying, click the link in our bio to hear the story of the genesis of Quick SWP from 2013.
Yep.
Does that sound good? Okay, so we have 2 minutes left. So just give us real quick. We asked this last time. In 2 minutes, tell us, what does it take to start a business? What kind of mindset do you have to have?
Grit is my one-word answer. Requires a lot of grit.
Grit, okay. And do you agree with the Gordon Gekko line from Wall Street where he says, I need your attitude and your personality traits to be, you need to be broke, smart, and hungry.
Yeah, to start something from scratch. Yeah. Yeah.
Broke, smart, and hungry, and grit.
Yeah.
So those 4 attributes, personality traits, or yeah, will help you to overcome all the hurdles.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I see the little red dot blinking on the left of the screen. That means we recorded this. So hopefully you can get the link up, and we'll try to post that today.
Yes.
And it's almost 12 o'clock now, so we'll log off, and then
How many people do you have looking at this right now?
we had up to 6 people at one point.
How many do you have right now?
Now we're 4.
Who are they? How come I can't see?
Well, let's see. I don't know who left.
I'd like to know who's still listening.
Who's still listening? Oh, okay. It looks like Noni Carroll has made a comment. Noni Carroll has says, also helpful is the clarity of your mission. So does that mean, what does that mean? Clarity of mission. That means, are we clear on why our mission to create a company? What do you take from that, Brad?
Also helpful, clarity of mission. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of go into this. I mean, you can write there's books and books about what it takes to start a business. And I would agree, yes, clarity of mission is one of them. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Clarity of mission. So did we make it clear what our mission was?
Yeah, we did at an early time, but in my opinion, a lot of the writing down and planning and the theoretical stuff is great, and it's a great starting point. But if you don't have the mindset of, again, being able to get punched in the face and keep walking forward and not caring what people think and seeing the bigger picture, which I guess is the overall mission, it's going to be really tough.
Right. Okay. Got it. So in one sentence, you say, do what you have to do, right? And then the clarity of mission is, why did you do this? Because you were looking for a better life for yourself, and you wanted to have the freedom to make your own decisions. That was the mission.
No, I mean, yeah, mission can be interpreted different ways. I mean, our company has a mission statement now.
Yeah.
At the time, yeah, there was a lot of things going on. Yeah.
Right. So you had a mission to create a better life for yourself, and then now, because the company has its own legs and it's its own entity, the company has a mission and a mission statement that they abide by.
Right.
All right. So it looked like we had 9 viewers.
Who's with us right now?
We had we had Brad, we had Mabby, Deb, Noni, Carol, Zalos.
I'm talking about right now. How many people are with us right now?
4.
Who are they?
It looks like we just lost the story. So it was KP Ireland, Noni Carroll, Deb Sibley.
All right, I'll stop recording and see if it actually got it here.